Welcome to learning math skills with Kashif. So this is the third lecture of the unit of this series of unit number 11, that is triangles, quadrilaterals and polygons. So in the first lecture we will discuss about the different types of triangle, then we will do the exercise 11a. So now today we will revise or discuss the what is quadrilaterals, what are the different types of quadrilaterals, and what are the properties of these quadrilaterals, and how we will apply these properties to find the unknown angles or the other values of these quadrilaterals. So let's start our today's lecture. So our topic is what is quadrilaterals. So first we will see what is quadrilateral, as the word quadrilateral is combination of two words. So what does it means independently? Quad. What is quad? Quad mean four, right? So we call such a bike with four wheels, we call it quad. Okay, so now literal. So what does it mean? It means sides. So basically when you combine this word, quadrilateral means four-sided figure, four-sided diagram, or four-sided shape like this. So can you name some basic shapes of geometrical which have four sides, which you studied in the previous class? You can name it very easily. That is square, that is rectangle, that is rhombus. So these parallelogram, these are all the quadrilaterals. So what is the definition of quadrilateral? So just see a polygon with four angles and with four straight edges. Just keep one thing in your mind, that is four-sided figure and four straight sides, right? It has four angles and four sides. So that kind of shape or polygon is called quadrilateral, like this. Okay, so now come to the different types of quadrilaterals. So these are the different types of quadrilaterals which you already studied with the different names, like that is trapezoid. Trapezoid means that is a trapezium. It also called as a trapezium. Then we have a parallelogram, then we have a rectangle, we have a square, we have a rhombus. So there is another shape quadrilaterals that we studied in this chapter, that is kite. So we will study the different properties of these quadrilaterals, these basic shapes. Some of the properties of these shapes you already studied, so we will revise them. So why we call it a quadrilaterals? Why these all shapes are quadrilaterals? Why we call it? Because each shape has four sides. As I told you earlier, quad mean four. So that's why we call it a quadrilaterals, right? So these all shapes, if you look at these all shapes, that is a rectangle, that is a trapezium, parallelogram, rectangle, and then again parallelogram. These all shapes has four sides. So that's why we call it a quadrilaterals. Okay, so let's start. What is the first? Okay, there is another property of quadrilaterals. The angles added up to 360 degree mean inside the interior angles of a quadrilateral. As I told you earlier that every quadrilateral has four angles. So all four angles always added up to 360. When we all add all the interior angles of a quadrilateral or four-sided shape, the sum of angles always is equal to 360. So this property keep in your mind. So next one is square. What is square? Square has four sides and that each of the same length, means sides of each length of a square is same. And what is the other property? It has also four right angles. Right angles means it is a perfect corners, right? So there is another shape that is we call that rhombus. So this is the square. Square has four right angles, right? And right angle mean angle of 90 degree. So if we add up these all four angles, what we get? We get 360 degree. So now what is rhombus? That is similar to square. It has four sides that are each of the same length. So what is the difference between rhombus and square? It has two acute and two obtuse angles, but in the square we have four right angles, right? So it has obtuse, acute and obtuse angle. So you know that what is the obtuse angle? Obtuse angle is more than 90 and less than 180, and acute angle is less than 90 degree. right? So what is the difference between square and rhombus? Both have the same four sides or the same length. So how they are different? What is the difference? Now you can answer these questions. That square has four right angles and rhombus has four different angles, right? Not the right angles. So if we just see how can we get the rhombus. A rhombus can thought of an slanted square. Look here. If we push, we have a square, right? If we push it from here, a square, it will come like this. Am I right? It comes in this shape. So what is this shape? That is rhombus, right? So it's almost the similar, only the difference is of angle, right? Square has four right angles, but rhombus don't have the four right angles. Clear? So now come to the next. What is this? The only difference between square and rhombus is their angles, as I told you earlier. So now we have a rectangle. What is the rectangle? Rectangle has four-sided figure, but it has two different sides and two different lengths. Means opposite sides are equal. This side is equal to this one and this side is equal to this side. But it has four right angles, and the other property is the lines are parallel. These two opposite sides are parallel and these two opposite sides are parallel, right? Two opposing two sides are also parallel. These are the properties of rectangle. It has four right angles as in the square, but square has four equal sides, rectangle have two opposite sides are equal. So what is parallelogram? Or parallelogram has the same property as the rectangles, are four sides, two long sides and two short sides. Two sides are parallel, means opposite sides are parallel in parallelogram, and two opposing two sides are also parallel. Okay, but it has two acute and two obtuse angles, same as rhombus. In rhombus we have same two acute angles. These are the two acute angles, and then we have two obtuse angle. And keep one property in your mind which I told you earlier, that the sum of all these four angles, what will be the sum of four angles? That is 360 degree. So now if we have the rectangle, what is the difference? A parallelogram can be thought of a slanted rectangle. As we look in the square, when we push the square from one side, right, it turns into the rhombus. Similarly, if you push the rectangle from the one corner, what we get? We will get the parallelogram. The difference between parallelogram and rectangle is, in rectangle all the angles are same, but in parallelogram that don't have the same angles or don't have the right angles. So there is another difference, only the one difference which I told you, that is the angles. So now come to the trapezoid. What is trapezoid? That is called trapezium. Trapezium has four sides. Okay, now what is the difference? Two sides are parallel. Okay, in rectangle and in square we have two pair of sides are parallel, opposite sides are parallel, but in trapezoid we have two sides are parallel but two sides are not parallel. Just look at the diagram. In this diagram, that is a trapezium, this side is parallel to this side, okay, but this side is not parallel to this side. How can you know? Because if we extend these lines, it will meet at some point. So it means these are not parallel lines. So in trapezoid we have one pair of parallel lines and the other pair, other opposite sides of a trapezium is not parallel. Clear? So that is the difference between rectangle, parallelogram and trapezium. So next shape is, that is kite. Do you know what is the shape of kite? Like this. That is a kite. So it has four sides. Opposite sides may be parallel. Opposite side means this side may be parallel to this one and this side may be parallel to this one. It may be parallel, it may not be parallel. That is a property of a kite. So what are the parallel sides? Similarly, this side can be parallel to each other. It cannot be parallel to each other, right? So that is the property of kite. It has for different properties. But it has similar property as parallelogram. It has two acute angles and two obtuse angles, that is as in the parallelogram. So let's see what is the common properties of these all shapes. First we study square. Square has four same lengths, four right angles. And what is the difference between square and rhombus? It has the same length but the angles are different, right? It has four right angles and it has two acute and two obtuse angle. Similar differences between rectangle, trapezium and parallelogram. In rectangle we have two long and two short lengths. Opposite sides are same, like just look at the shapes. These opposite sides are equal, right? Means two long lengths and two short lengths. But in trapezium we have the different lengths. It don't have the same lengths and it has the different angles as well. But in rectangles we have the four right angles. In parallelogram we have two acute and two obtuse angle, as in the rhombus and parallelogram have the same properties as the with respect to angles. Similarly, kite has also two acute and two obtuse angles. Parallel lines in kite, it may be one parallel lines, it may be two, it may not be any parallel opposite sides. So that is the basic properties of these quadrilaterals. We use these properties in upcoming questions and exercise, and then we will solve the different questions from the upcoming exercise from your book and your workbook. So I hope you understand and enjoy today's lecture. So keep us read the pages regarding to these definitions of quadrilaterals. Now you have to know about the what is the properties of triangles, what are the different types of triangles in the previous lecture. In today's lecture you learn about the quadrilaterals, what are the different properties of quadrilaterals and what is different types of quadrilaterals. So I hope you will read and you will learn these definitions at home. So if you read these definitions, these properties in your mind, then you can solve the questions very easily, which we do in the next lecture. So stay tuned with learning math skills with Kashif, and also share, subscribe and like my channel Learning Math Skills with Kashif. See you till next lecture. Bye.